Hey y'all, did you know that I've done some other book reviews? Go to the search bar, type in book review, and you'll find them easily. Thanks for watching, guys. Hey y'all, welcome back to Tobacco Leaf Legacies. This is Cheryl, and welcome back to another brew and review. Haven't done one of these in a while. I have been busy working on the parents' house and getting that ready to rent. If you've seen a couple other videos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I've been trying to get to this book review video for a while, and we are talking about Jurassic Park.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
I highly doubt any of you have not seen Jurassic Park. If you haven't, let me know. I'd kind of be curious to hear about that. Most of us love dinosaurs. You know, we grew up hearing and learning about dinosaurs, and it's so fun to learn about them and to see the skeletons and just, I don't know if you're like me, but I find it kind of hard sometimes to really grasp and understand that these animals, these creatures, these things were here and that they existed, they lived, they hunted, all this stuff. It's just an entire fascinating world. And I think the majority of us find it very fascinating. When this book came out, it got a lot of attention. When the movie came out, I think it blew everybody's mind. Now, oftentimes, the book is always better than the movie, right? More details. There's just, let's face it, there's just more time in a book to develop characters and develop storylines and all of this kind of stuff, right? Yeah, not with this one. And maybe it's just me. If you have read the book and if you saw the movies, and if you think the book is better, absolutely let me know. But I think there are a lot of people that when the movie came out, they were just like, oh my goodness, they have taken what was already a very creative, just incredible story and made it even better, right? Okay, let's talk about Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park.
It's a dinosaur.
And just want to show you my little dinosaur friends back here. We all know that I am a Disney fan. And if you have heard or if you have been to Animal Kingdom, you know that we had the ride Dinosaur, right? So this little guy, and I forget exactly what he's called. Love his little head here. I bought this in the gift shop because he's also in the ride, and I kind of wanted to, since they're closing that ride, don't get me started on that, but since they're closing that ride, I did want to get a little something, and he was in the ride, so I got him. As I drop him, put him right back there. And then these other little ones that I have right here, I got these in a shop in Winter Garden that sells a lot of Disney things that come from the hotels, that come, from the parks. I believe I did a video about that, so I'll post that right here. But these little guys came from that, and they were used, you can kind of see the wire and stuff on them, they were used in Dino Land in Animal Kingdom as Christmas decor, little dinosaurs. So I figured they needed to join me for the video.
Clever girl.
All right, so let's get into this. Let's start at the basics. This is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. A synopsis of this book is that Dr. John Hammond is the founder of InGen, International Genetic Technologies, Inc., and they discovered a way to clone dinosaurs and subsequently created a theme park with them. He invites a group of people to the island where the theme park is to preview everything and get their feedback. The preview does not go as planned. And everyone ends up literally fighting for their lives before finally being rescued from the island. My overall opinion about Jurassic Park, and here I am talking about the book. I'm probably a little biased because I saw the movies first. I'm not really sure how I would have compared them if I had read this first. Maybe I would have been a little more critical of the movies, but I did see all of the movies before I picked this up. Overall, though, I mean, I did enjoy the book. The concept of cloning such mysterious creatures as the dinosaurs is absolutely fascinating. I mean, I don't think anybody can deny that. I think Michael captured the science-y side of it very well. I think, too, that he actually met with people to, I don't want to say make it sound science-y, but I mean, he wanted it to sound as legit as it could, and it absolutely does. I also think that he captured the reality of cloning something that we know little about and the consequences that inevitably follow. Okay, let's get into the questions.
Hold on to your butts.
What do you think about the cover?
The cover is simple but accurate. It's showing a dinosaur, and a dinosaur story is what you're getting. Mine is also the 25th anniversary edition, which you can see right here. It's very similar to the first edition that was published. If you do a search, you'll find quite a few different covers, but I think this one's my favorite.
Is the movie title the same as the book title?
Yes, thankfully the movie kept the book title and they didn't change it.
Dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherits the earth.
What are some of the differences between the book and the movie?
Oh, y'all, there are a tremendous amount of differences. Now, again, you know, when you're working from a book to a movie, usually there are going to be a lot of details that are left out simply because there's no way you can put that much detail from a book into a movie. But in this one, there were so many changes. There were changes in character. There was changes in story. There were so many differences. Oh my goodness. Let me share some of these with you. Okay. Dr. Hammond does not visit the dig site in the book like he does in the movie. It was a meeting over the phone. In the movie, he introduced himself as if they didn't know him.
Who in God's name do you think you are?
John Hammond.
In the book, Alan already knew Dr. Hammond and had met him previously and was familiar with his organization as his digs were funded by him. Kind of a huge difference, right? Okay, let's keep going. The very beginning scene with the raptors. Didn't happen. Alan was also sent an X-ray of a dinosaur, and he and Ellie were mailed plans of the island ahead of time. No dinosaurs were mentioned, though in the plans there were just codes that they didn't understand what they meant. Bob Morris from the EPA was the one that actually visited Alan and asked a lot of questions about Dr. Hammond. The shaving cream can scene.
The bottom screw's open.
Oh, you God.
It's cool to compartmentalize inside.
In the book, they met in the San Francisco airport. They'd been meeting monthly, actually, which they don't mention in the movie. The second chapter with the family on the beach is very similar to what happens at the beginning of the second movie. So they did take some things that they didn't use in the first movie from the book, and they put them in the other movies. In the book, the first view of a dinosaur was right before getting off the helicopter, not the Jeep ride. Alan didn't seem surprised in the book, even making the statement, "It's been discussed about cloning dinosaurs." Okay, this is very, very different book to the movie, right? All right, let's talk about the kids. In the movie, the sister is older and the brother is younger. In the book, it's reversed. Timmy is older and then Lexi is younger. Timmy has the car ride down the tree alone. Remember where he's falling through the tree?
Okay, it's not too bad right there.
Yes, it is.
It's just like coming out of a treehouse. Did your dad ever build you a treehouse?
No.
Damn it. The thing about climbing is you never look down.
This
Never.
is impossible.
So
Okay, in the book, that's alone. Alan was not with him. And Timmy is also the one who worked on the computers to get everything online again, not the sister.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Alan did not spend overnight with the kids in a tree. It was in a shed. Ian didn't explain the water drops to Ellie, the chaos theory that he was explaining.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, now freeze your hand, freeze your hand. Don't move. I'm going to do the same thing. Start with the same place again. Which way
Right.
is going to roll off? Do you think?
Let's say back. Same way.
Same back.
Arnold did it to Gennaro. Ellie does not help rescue Ian in the book like she did in the movie. She does help him after he returned to the lodge. There was also a lot more scenes in the book in the lodge and like in their rooms because it was like a resort. They were supposed to stay there, right? It was a theme park, so they also needed to stay there. There was a lot going on at the lodge, and we didn't really see much of that in the movie at all. Alan and the kids had quite the adventure, floating on the river, trying to get back to the lodge. It's not in the first movie. They actually did do something like that in one of the later movies. They took that and kind of tweaked it a little bit. Ellie does not turn the main power breakers on, and Timmy is not zapped by the fence in the book. There is no ride to explain the process of getting the dino DNA. Right? Surprising? There were certain scenes like that one. I figured, oh, well, that's got to be in there, right? Like, that's a No, not in the book.
hello, John. Hello, John. Hello. Hello, John.
And from what?
Hello, John.
Low extraction has never recreated an intact DNA strand.
Not without master sequence gaps.
Good afternoon, John.
DNA from what source? Where do you get 100 million year old dinosaur blood?
Ellie examined a stegosaurus, not a triceratops.
Oh my god.
The lawyer bathroom dinosaur scene, yeah, where he, chomps down on him in there. Yeah, never happened in the book. There were scenes at the end in the book at the raptor nest that was nowhere in the movie. And in the book, there was a whole thing about trying to find these nests, and there was like multiple nests and everything. Not in the movie, anywhere. Ian does say in the book, life finds a way.
You're implying that a group composed entirely of female animals will breed?
No, I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
There is a kitchen scene with a raptor and the kids. And y'all, that was just the main stuff that I wrote down to share. There was a lot more that was different from the book to the movie.
How were the characters different?
In the book, Alan has a beard. He loves kids. Okay, that's a big difference right there. Loves kids. He had been married, but his wife had died years earlier. Ellie, who of course is his love interest, we'll call it, kind of, in the movie. In the book, she's 24, his student, and engaged. I already mentioned the kids' ages are reversed. The lawyer, Gennaro, lives in the book. He doesn't die like in the movie. And he has a much stronger personality. Dr. Wu, Dr. Hammond, and Ian all die in the book. All of them. Somehow, though, in the second book, Ian is alive again. Whether maybe somebody just didn't remember a little detail that they had written, I don't know, but technically, those three died in the first book.
Life finds a way.
Ed Regis, who he's mentioned throughout the book, he was the PR guy for the park that Dr. Hammond had hired. He is completely absent from the movie.
Does the movie story feel similar to the book story?
Well, it depends, really. The general premise of the storyline is the same, of course, with Dr. Hammond's research and cloning and the park creation and everything going wrong. But the scenes are so different that, for me, it creates a disconnect between the book and the movie. I kind of look at it as they can stand alone, almost, as separate but similar stories. I know that probably sounds a little crazy, but when you read the book, again, there are just so many differences in the storyline. You almost can look at it as sort of two separate universes, two separate sets of stories that happened.
Now where does he think he's going?
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
What is your favorite quote or part of the book?
My favorite quote is when Ian got on the plane with Dr. Hammond and met Alan and Ellie, and they all started chatting. Here's the paragraph. Dr. Malcolm Hammond explained is a man of strong opinions. And mad as a hatter, Malcolm said cheerfully. But you must admit, these are non-trivial issues. We live in a world of frightful givens. It is given that you will behave like this, given that you will care about that. No one thinks about the givens. Isn't it amazing? In the information society, nobody thinks. We expected to banish paper, but we actually banished thought. I think that's fantastic because look at what we're in. Look at what is happening. We have so much technology. We have so much information, and yet sometimes we have so little thought. So I really like that.
How did the book ending compare with the movie ending?
At the end of the movie, there is a grand rescue and escape. Of course, we have to have that in the movie, right? The book ending was kind of weird. They were rescued, the ones that were alive, they were rescued. However, the island was destroyed by bombs. The island that the dinosaur theme park was on, Jurassic Park, was bombed. And then the survivors are seemingly being held in Costa Rica without any clear explanation of why. And the reader is left with a lot of questions. I was kind of, understandably, expecting a similar ending to what I saw in the movie. And when they got to the end and and it seemed like they weren't going home and that they were going to be held in Costa Rica. And I was just kind of like, doing one of those at the end. And I just feel like when you get to the end of a book, you should be feeling something, I don't know, something stirring you. You should either feel happiness because, I don't know, people were saved or they were reunited, or, you know, you get this happy ending and you've been on this journey and, you know, yay. So you should feel that, or maybe sad, you know, I don't know. But I got to the end of this one and just went, huh? And I kind of feel like that's not really the ending that you want at the end of a book that long, right? So, I don't know. I have not read any other Michael Crichton books. Perhaps that was just kind of typical of his writing. Perhaps that was typical of some of his endings. I don't know. Michael Crichton fans, let me know. Was the ending to this book kind of weird like that? Is that typical to his writing? I do not know. I know I didn't particularly like it, and it was a little confusing to me because, you know, again, another one of those things. You get to the end of a book and your questions and loose ends should be answered and tied up and all of that, and you're kind of left with more questions, but then you got nothing else to read.
Which is better, the book or the movie?
I guess that is the ultimate question. Which is better, the book or movie? Again, I think the majority of the time when you are talking about a book-movie situation, and I'm going to say 93% of the time, the book is going to be better. Not this time, the movie. The movie, 1,000% is better. And I also think that the movie, because it was so different, it took the best parts out of this story. It took the most creative elements of it and it smoothed them out a little bit, added a little bit here and there. And I just feel like it took what was already a good story. I mean, I'm not knocking the story. This is a very good story. But it took it for the movie and it just smoothed out some parts and made it flow a little bit better.
Would you read another book from the same author?
Maybe. I'm going to give that a maybe. There are 2 other Jurassic Park books by Michael, which the second and third movies are based on. I'm sure they're good books. I mean, he is obviously a talented writer. But after all of the differences in the first book and the first movie, it makes me a little leery to pick up those particular books. I think I would maybe try one of his non-dinosaur books, we'll call it, maybe Timeline or Sphere. I've heard those are good. Again, Crichton fans, let me know. Instead of the Jurassic Park ones, what's your favorite one that I should be picking up? So yeah, probably not the dinosaur ones, but I think I would try one of his other ones.
Would you recommend it to others and/or would you read it again?
Would I recommend it or read it again? I'm not reading it again. Just going to tell you straight up, I'm not going to read this again and I'm not going to read his other 2. But I would recommend you to read it at least once if you have not. I think if you're a big fan of the movies, then you have to at least read the first one. Just be prepared for all the differences. Okay, and here are just some little tidbits that I read online about the book, the movie situation that I thought would be kind of interesting to share with you. When Steven Spielberg acquired the rights before it was even published. Oh yes, oh yes. Steven Spielberg does not miss much, y'all. And he acquired the rights to do the movie before it was even published because he knew, he's smart, he knew that was going to be big. Michael was hired to adapt the novel for the screen. He only agreed to do the preliminary version, however, and told Steven, "You're going to want somebody else to polish the characters." You would almost think that it being his baby, he would have wanted to have been all over it, but he didn't. He just kind of wanted to do a little bit of it and was like, okay, here you go. You do the rest, you work your magic. Okay, still talking about adapting the book to the movie, Universal President Casey Silver recommended David Koepp. He and Steven worked together to create the movie story that we know and love today. However, let me tell you about this other part. Steven was currently filming Hook, which is a movie that I adore. Do y'all love Hook? I love Hook. And that was co-written by Malia Scotch Marmo. He had asked her to try her hand at writing Jurassic Park, meaning, to adapt it for the movie. She spent 5 months working on it, but it just wasn't quite what Steven was looking for. The frustrating part here with that is that she didn't get the credit for her time, her effort, for the story ideas, but the fact is that she spent a lot of time on this to try to help and then didn't really get the proper credit for that. Talking about the kids and the differences in their age, why Spielberg flipped that, one of the reasons for switching the kids' ages was because Steven had auditioned Joseph Mazzello, the one that played Timmy in the movie, for a role in Hook. But it was decided that he was too young. Steven promised him that they would work together on his next film, and that next film happened to be Jurassic Park. That's it for this brew and review, talking about Jurassic Park, the book, and talking a little bit about the movie. Let me know what you think. Do you love the dinosaur movies, or do you not? Are you maybe one of those that's like, it's fine, I don't really care for it? Either way, let me know. Let me know if you've read the book. Do you suggest other Crichton books for me to read just besides these? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting. I absolutely 1000% appreciate it. As always, time is precious. Carpe diem, seize the day. I'll see you next time.